Lang Park is the venue. It's the Queensland final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup for 1990. And perfect conditions here at Lang Park for this final. It's between St Mary's Toowoomba and St Patrick's College Mackay, two Christian Brothers colleges, to battle out the right to stay alive for 1990. The referee today is Robert Irwin, and it will be the St Mary's side of Toowoomba to defend the northern end of Lang Park. The kick-off by St Patrick's Mackay. And they've chalked up some terrific wins along the way. We saw the Toowoomba side here against Mergen just a couple of weeks ago, and it will be the Toowoomba side to receive from the kick-off. And young Peter Klopfel has the first touch of this Queensland final. He runs to his opposite number, Steve Elmore, and he's taken about 13 metres out from his own goal line. That's Betros. Coming in to effect the tackle is Anthony Bella, wearing 13 for the Mackay side. That's Butler. And David Wright already effectively working the ball outside their quarter line.
Yes, they played very well here a couple of weeks ago when they played Mergen High. They ultimately won that game by 24 points to 8, the St Mary's Toowoomba side, but they did lead 24-0 at half-time. They failed to score in the second half, and it'll be interesting to see whether they've improved their defence a bit. And there's an indication, plenty of gang tackling in that one. That'll be a feature of the match, I think, is whether or not St Mary's have upgraded their defence. And we see here them giving away a penalty in the early part of the tackle count. A chance now for St Pat's to go back on the attack.
Well, Peter Phillips coming up. The young fullback, Michael Ellamore, is one of two players, Tony Durkin, that has signed with the Gold Coast Seagulls for next year.
Yes, David, they were in the Queensland Independent Schools side. Earlier this year, they played a trial match against the Gold Coast Seagulls, and very impressive was Ellamore and also the skipper, Peter Phillips. So I'm sure that Mackay looking for big games from this pair today.
Okay, well, the player playing the ball is captain of that Independent Schools side. That's David Paul, the front row forward. This time a penalty will go against the Mackay side in possession of the football.
Forward past that one, Kerr looked to offload the ball and just delayed his pass momentarily. Phillips came through in support in an offside position. Not only a forward pass, but in an offside position, a penalty results. There it is from the head on. Referee Irwin picking up the penalty. Now a chance for St Mary's.
Also joining us in the commentary box today, Australian Rugby League captain Wally Lewis. We saw this Toowoomba side in action a couple of weeks ago, Wally, and they looked pretty impressive.
They did look very smart, David. They really did perform very well, especially in the first half where they really decided the fate of the match. But as David Wright said, they really did weaken in the second half where we saw the young Mergen Chargers make some gaping holes and advances into their opposition's territory from wide out. And if they, I think if they try and rest on their laurels at half-time today against this side from Mackay, who have impressed before, they'll be on the wrong end of the scoreboard.
Well, the high tackle by Paul has given Toowoomba a very, very good chance of attack here now. And going into dummy half is Saunders. Cut out Graham. The ball towed downfield by Mackay. Retreating out Toowoomba, and it'll be Quinlan that takes the ball just midway between the half and the 22. In fact, it's Kyle Warren, the player who will be taken in the tackle. That's Wilkes. His first touch of the football in this Queensland final. Saunders looking for his runner on the blind side. He finds Betros, who impressed in that semi-final match here against Mergen. Just incidentally, the Toowoomba side led by 24 points to 0 at half-time in that match and ran out winners finally by 24 points to 8. Now it goes away again for Warren. Saunders to dummy half. Running out of that position. Put the little kick in. It'll go across to the far wing for Dallas. There's a couple of players, Tony, in this Mackay side that were members of the Nudgee First 15 in Rugby Union last year, and I speak one in particular in Jamie Gaviglio. His first year in league, a player to watch in the future.
Yes, Jamie Gaviglio is a magnificent athlete, David. In fact, he's been in trouble with injuries a lot this year. He's had a hamstring injury. You can see that knee of his is also pretty heavily strapped today, but he's a good player, as is the skipper, Peter Phillips, is also an ex-Nudgee boy.
So we'll see the play come back to about 5 metres out from the Mackay 22. Loose-headed feed to Toowoomba.
A lot of nerves taking part in this early stage of the match. It's quite a big crowd building up here at Lang Park for what will be the main game here today, and that's the Broncos-Balmain match. You can see there already many people have flooded in. This will be the biggest crowd these boys have ever played in front of on the hallowed turf of Lang Park, and nerves playing a big part.
Notice that the wing three-quarter Wilkes is feeding the scrum. Then it goes across to the little halfback in Patterson. And finally the centre three-quarter in Kyle Warren takes the tackle centre field. That's Fickling. Away for Betros. He steadies it, unloaded the ball nicely. That's Gillies, the fullback. And he's taken right on the quarter line. Saunders will go to dummy half. First receiver will be Patterson. He got the pass away to the big prop forward in Butler. They again decide to go to the right. Patterson. Dummies thrown everywhere. Gaviglio wrapped him up at the tackle. And finally it's Ben Quarrell. Oh, he got the ball away nicely. They move on attack. Fickling, only 5 metres short of the try line. Toowoomba looking for early points in this match. Their captain Saunders goes on his own from dummy half. He scored here in the semi-final, but on that occasion couldn't get across the line. Fickling on the final tackle. That's good defence by Mackay. Moved up very, very quickly was the winger Brett Dallas.
We saw there St Mary's elected to have a go at the try line on that 6th tackle, has forced a changeover. Now it's important now for St Mary's to carry up their enthusiasm with some strong defence and try and force the kick early.
So Mackay, Patterson coming in to effect the tackle. That was on the second row forward in Phillips. There's the kick downfield. It'll go back now for Anthony Wilkes. He will field the ball about 8 metres out from his own 22. Gaviglio chases, but Wilkes got away. And a good run by the wing three-quarter. Finally on the far side, Dallas wrapped him up in the tackle. Gillis got the pass away. And Troy Rabbit into touch on that far side.
St Mary showing their intentions there to move the ball quickly. Here it is out on the far side. Good cover defending tackle. Just taking him into touch now. A chance for St Patrick's to go on the attack.
So the scrum just inside Mackay's end of the ground. And the penalty will go to the boys from North Queensland.
Really there for the ball coming straight back out the tunnel. Hooker's very quick to try and get the feet up. Hitting the hooker's feet and coming out of the tunnel instead of behind and between the innermost feet of the second rowers.
So Anthony Bella finds touch on the far side. Contrasting bills, Anthony Bella and Martin, Wally.
Yes, they're at opposite ends of the scale, David, but the youngster, he certainly looked like he's following in the footsteps of his older brother Martin, of course, who was test selection behind him. But Anthony has shown that he already has a distinguished younger footballers. We see a great break made here and a try to Ellamore for St Patrick's Mackay.
Steve Ellamore comes up with the first 4-pointer of the day, and that's a very good start. The crowd warmly appreciate the skills of this young Mackay side. They are in the lead by 4-0.
Gaping holes in the middle of St Mary's ruck. It took Ryan Kerr, nice stepping run up the middle, and then Steve Ellamore supports nicely, cuts away from the fullback is Peter Gillis. He goes across. Good try this one from St Pat's.
Yes, a nice set play there. Kerr went across. It was a little bit of a line ball decision whether that pass was forward or not, but once Ellamore got a sniff at that try line, he certainly made the most of it.
Well, young Steve Ellamore, the twin of the fullback in this side in Michael Ellamore, noted for his great defensive skills, but he finished off brilliantly then. And Mackay in the lead by 4-0. And now Anthony Bella, who last visit, I think, David, here was with the Queensland under-17s on State of Origin night, this young fellow.
Yes, well, he's tasted some of the atmosphere of Lang Park, and this is a fine start, this from St Pat's. They've had only one opportunity to get near the try line. They've come up with points.
So Anthony Bella with the ball placed about 8 metres in from the touch on that Frank Bergstand side of Lang Park. A little breeze that probably will assist him coming over his right shoulder. He struck it. It's there, so that is a great start for Mackay. They lead this final of the Queensland division of the Commonwealth Bank Cup by 6 points to 0 over St Mary's Toowoomba. So back to halfway come St Mary's. About 21 minutes of play remaining in this first half. It will be Peter Gillis to restart play for Toowoomba. Tony Durkin on the touchline. That's the start the boys from North Queensland wanted.
Well, David, they've really taken this match by or the opportunity that was handed to them. It's the first time they've been in Toowoomba's half in the match, and they've come up with a try. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those in this game from Mackay. They are a very, very smart outfit.
Gaviglio plays the ball on the quarter line. And Ellamore, in fact, that's Phillips, the captain of the side, taking play up over the quarter. Well, a mistake outside their own quarter line. That's given Toowoomba a chance now to attack. Saunders And they just seem to be lacking cohesion, the Toowoomba side. Clupville will go to dummy half. Tim Graham calling for it as the first receiver. Got it away to Betros. And Betros held up in the tackle inside the attacking corner. Clupville. A gain of about 5 or 6. They just appear to be disorganised in that ruck area. But a penalty will go to Toowoomba. Up inside the 5 was David Paul.
Good chance here now for St Mary's to put their first points on the board. In their urgency to move up quickly. St Pat's not standing square on at the marker position. There is the double marker moving too early, and Jeff Scott. Penalty there, the referee going back to the play the ball area to award the penalty. A chance for St Mary's.
Well, Peter Gillis is the man that will be attempting to put the first points on the board for Toowoomba. Wasn't in such great goal-kicking form here in the semi-final. He kicked only 1 from 5. And finally, the captain, Don Saunders, took over the goal-kicking responsibilities in that game. And he was successful with his only attempt. That was in that 24 points to 8 victory over Mergen in the semi-final. This young fellow, who was in the Australian under-15 side back in 1988, is the leading try scorer in their campaign this year with 8. Very smart attacking fullback. Let's see if he's got rid of the goal-kicking nerves here at Lang Park. A chance to draw 2 points back. They're currently down by 6-0. Sets the ball at quite an interesting angle on that mound. Let's see whether he can get it airborne. Well, he takes a couple of steps. He moves in. It looks good off the boot. It's straight between the uprights. So they pull 2 back to Toowoomba, but they still trail in this final by 6 points to 2. So basking in the Queensland sunshine, the good support, as we saw in the semi-final, for this side from Toowoomba. Toowoomba only a couple of hours drive outside of Brisbane, but for the fans from St Patrick's, David, it's a fair jaunt to Brisbane.
Sure is, Fordo, but I do understand that there is quite a contingent down here from Mackay. They have very strong support in the Mackay area, and they brought quite a legion of fans themselves to try and balance the ledger. Okay,
well, Toowoomba trying to work it out. The Clupville pass went over his head. It was picked up by Murray Patterson. And Tony, an interesting change to the Toowoomba side. Young Jamie Hopgood, the Australian under-15 representative this year, who we didn't see in action in that semi-final, was chosen in the starting lineup, but didn't take his place in the side.
Yes, that's a little surprising, David, because he's an Australian under-15 representative from this year, young Hopgood. Martin Quinlan's come in to the side to replace him, but Quinlan is on the wing, and Kyle Warren has moved into the 5'8 spot, but I'm sure we're going to see young Hopgood before this game's over.
Okay, we're going into dummy half is Scott. Got the way to Kerr into Dun Robin. He left the ball on the ground. It's picked up by Dallas on that far side. But the referee, Robert Irwin, detected the knock-on, and he'll pack the scrum down just inside Toowoomba's end of the ground.
Here it is again on replay, the pass up there, really lack of cohesion, and it was only a couple of moments ago that an error by St Pat's led to the penalty. Errors can be quite costly.
That's Warren. Got to the advantage line, got beyond the halfway line, and he was taken over the top by Dun Robin. They work left-hand side. Gillis showed the ball nicely, got the pass away to Rabbit, loose on the ground. It will go into touch.
A bit there he is, the young fellow, just going a pace too far. He tried to get to the opposing winger and offload the ball. The one-hander was not well directed at all, gave no chance whatsoever for Anthony Wilkes.
Now Kerr, but the penalty goes for the incorrect feed by the vice-captain of this Mackay side in Kerr. That's the hooker, Scott. And I'd say he may have had a little chat to referee Irwin. This young fella got the man of the match in the TV game against Kirwan High up at Townsville. Very good organiser, young Ryan Kerr, the vice-captain of this Mackay side.
Good captaincy there by Peter Phillips to come up and just question the referee along with the halfback in Kerr, just to find out what he wants.
Saunders getting it away for Clupville.
Got to be careful though, Wally, how you phrase it to those referees, isn't it?
Yes, a couple of them don't take it too well if you ask them incorrectly, David, as I've been told.
They work blindside. Ball loose on the ground. And the referee will rule the knock on as David Paul went upfield, and he's not at all impressed.
The referee's awarded there that Paul was the man who knocked the ball down. Paul believing that it was the tackle and not his hand. Let's have a look at it. Strong tackle it was. Paul thought it was okay. Referee thought otherwise.
Well, the two little halfbacks are battling for possession in the feed too, but Toowoomba come up with it. Oh, clever play, Warren. He's only about 5 metres short of the try line. Patterson, a very poor play the ball. Klupfel. Toowoomba trail by 4, 6-2 the scoreline. Saunders turning it back, Betros. Still short of the try line. Big open side, but a penalty goes against Mackay.
Once again, young David Paul, the offender there. He's being a little bit frustrated by the previous decision. He wants to just learn to allow the referee to referee the game and don't let things like that interfere. Here's a try.
Yes, John Butler's come up with it. His 9th try of the season, and he did it pretty easily.
Well, there's been a flood of penalties going to St Mary's, and finally they've come up with the points. Butler from close to the line. He is a big man, good body position, low and hard. Paul was one of the tacklers. He should have been able to make a better job, along with Phillips. Good effort by Butler.
Yes, he's, as I mentioned, 9 tries for the season so far for the big prop forward. He was a member of the Toowoomba Southwestern side this year at the under-16 level. So he's tasted representative football, and his second appearance here at league headquarters in Queensland, Lang Park. And he's brought his side back on level terms. Quick thinking, Wally, but the opportunity was always there.
Yes, it certainly was. I think the guys from Mackay were just a little bit tired, David. As you mentioned, there was a quick succession of penalties to the Toowoomba boys, and they regroup behind the line at the moment, talking, probably trying to just urge each other once they get tired to start talking, regroup a little bit more, and try not to leave little holes and little lapses of concentration to allow 4 points.
Well, they had a very good for and against record going into the final, scoring 166 to 38 against. And that was in their 5 games, so they averaged over 30 points for, and just a touch over 7 against. Pretty well credentialed going into the final. Gillis with the ball placed, 8 metres in from touch. 1 from 1 so far. It'll be 1 from 2 because he's pushed it to the right. But this final is all tied up at Lang Park at 6 points apiece. Well, there's the scoreline, 6-all, and Gillis a 50% goal kicking record today. Bella with the restart of play will drive it deep downfield, get to the quarter line. It's taken by Graham, the lock forward.
Oh, he's just put his foot into touch as he took the ball. It'll be interesting to see here how the referee rules this one. If he was actually standing on the touchline at the time he took the ball, then it has been taken into touch by the opposition. But he was in the field of play, stepped back, and therefore loose head and feed to St Pat's.
Well, what a costly error, because it's given St Powell. They've taken it against the feed, so that's good work by Saunders. And Warren takes the ball up 32 out from his own goal line. They move it wide. That's Wilkes. He had a bit of a look at Bernard Bond, and that cost him dearly because he's lost the football.
Well, a number of times today we've seen some very flat passing. I think both sides could get a lot deeper. There we see Wilkes really up too flat. Had he been back a bit, he'd have been able to receive the ball at full pace and have been in a better position to go on with it.
So all the good work of taking that scrum against the feed has been negated, because Ryan Kerr will feed the scrum for Mackay, and a penalty that will take play inside the Toowoomba 22.
Identical scrum penalty as we saw a little while ago, where the hookers are getting their feet too far across the tunnel prior to feeding the ball coming straight back out again. The penalties now favour St Mary's by 5-3.
So Bernard Bond gets the ball in field for Scott, and Paul, who's been in the wars a little bit at the other end of the field, takes the ball up for the Mackay team. That's Phillips. Taken in the tackle by Klupfel. 12 metres out. Scott will get it away to Kerr. He decides to switch the point of attack. Got the ball beautifully away for Bella. He's 2 or 3 metres short of the try line. They again attack with the switch of play again. But Betros is in there with the ball and all tackle. Quick play the ball is required. It goes to Kerr, out to Dunrobin. But that's good defence by Toowoomba. Ball loose on the ground. Final tackle. Gaviglio resented the tackle. There's the kick by Paul into the in goal. The chase is on. Agnew's come up with the try, I think. The referee looks at his touch judge. That is a try, and the man that gave away a couple of penalties at the other end of the ground has come up with a little kick that's led to Mackay's second try.
And that's David Paul. Have a look at him angle the ball nicely here. Puts it on the outside of the defence. Agnew comes through quickly. Oh, I don't think he grounded it. The referee has awarded the try. Let's have another look. Wally Lewis.
Yes, I've got to agree with you there, David. There was no way in the world he got that ball down. It's a little bit hard for the guys from Toowoomba. It certainly was a kick that did deserve a try, but you've got to be fair to both sides here. That ball wasn't grounded correctly.
Well, the school captain of St Patrick's Mackay has come up with a try in inverted commas to his side, but it's given them a very handy lead of 10 points to 6, and Bella now with a chance from right out on touch to try and add the extra points.
We've talked about in-goal judges in Winfield Cup football coming up to the final series. And also the touch judge there has a very strong part to play as well. Referees should always consult with the touch judge when in doubt in that circumstance.
So Bella, 1 from 1 so far. The breeze will give him a little assistance, taking plenty of time. He's got the distance, but waved away. It's a 4-point lead to St Patrick's Mackay here in this final, the Queensland Divisional Final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup. So as I mentioned, very good crowd, because this game is a curtain raiser to the big one today, the top of the table clash in the Winfield Cup, the clash between Balmain and Brisbane, and what a game that should be. So back on halfway, the restart of play. And Toowoomba trail again for the second time in this match. Bond will be the receiver from the kick-off at his own in goal. This St Patrick's side has been very, very well coached by Mick April. And he's looking on quite pleased with the effort so far, with a 4-point lead and about 8 minutes of play remaining in the first half.
Where he would be pleased, Fordo, is that they really have not had territorial advantage. They've defended their line reasonably well, letting in one try, but a couple of opportunities they have had, they've converted to points.
So play just on the halfway line. That's the fullback Gillis at dummy half. But can't penetrate that strong Mackay defence. Tupfell. It's a good run by Quarrel. His centre field, Saunders, showed the ball, got it away to Betros, but a copybook tackle coming in from Ellabore. Now they move left-hand side. Patterson got it away for Warren. That's the big step. But he's taken 32 out. 10-6. Mackay in the lead. The little kick and chase by Gillis. He's been brought down late. That really should be a penalty. And the referee, Irwin, agrees. And will they once again take the quick tap?
Should have a shot for 2 points, I would think, here. There's the little kick by Gillis over the top. Definitely pushed in the back there as he tried to come through to chase his own kick. The referee has not missed it. And he is very close to the try line.
Betros got the pass away. Saunders. So they elected not to go for the 2. Can they come up with the 4? Graham got the pass away. It's the fullback Gillis that's chimed in for his 9th try of the season. And the move has paid off. They're back on level terms at 10 apiece.
Well, they backed their own ability here, St Mary's. Good quick ball movement after they took that quick tap. And a couple of players linking up quite nicely. In the back line comes Gillis. And he was the man who was knocked over originally. He comes up with the 4 points.
Yeah, some very neat work, David. I thought this was the pass here that really created the try, with a 5'8" in Hopgood. Got it away to Tim Graham, who got a very quick ball away. We'll see it here. There it is there. It was a centre, as a matter of fact, in Kyle Warren, who got some very quick hands away. He could have elected to go ahead himself, but just stand and deliver, and that's what really gave them an extra man.
Well, Gillis is the goal kicker, but he's injured himself in that try-scoring movement, and it appears that it could well be a hamstring. And that will be a cruel blow to the Toowoomba side. But in the meantime, his captain Saunders is the man that's going to look for the extra 2 points. As I mentioned earlier, he had the one attempt in that semi-final against Bergen. and from touch was successful. Let's see what he can do. Oh, it's a poor kick. He's missed it. So the final is all tied up at 10 points apiece, and about 5.5 minutes remain to half-time. So Paul Canning, the coach of the Toowoomba side, his team back to square the ledger, but a bit of concern about his fullback in Gillis. Bella with the restart. Graham takes the ball inside his quarter. That pass goes to Betros, and he takes play beyond the quarter line. Quarrel. Bella with the ball and all tackle. So we've seen 4 tries in the first half. Oh, that's a bad mistake. And he's a bit lucky he didn't concede a penalty there, David.
Yeah, all the problems come out of that play the ball movement. It was a poor pass out of the dummy half, put pressure on the receiver. Now here's the poor pass out of the dummy half, not really getting up at all. And that's put pressure right back on St Mary's. Great chance for St Pat's.
Yes, it's a great, oh, that's a collapse of the scrum, and the penalty will go against Mackay.
They really should be proud of their scrummaging work here this afternoon, David. The Toowoomba boys, they've obviously worked on it very hard at training, and no matter whether they've got the feed or not, the 6 forwards really do put 100% into their pushing, and the evidence can be seen as the result of that scrum. They're making the Mackay scrum collapse on many occasions.
Tony Durkin, there still appears to be problems with young Gillis, the fullback. Any movement on that Toowoomba bench?
No, there hasn't as yet, David. We've just checked with the Toowoomba coach, and according to the coach, it's a twinge in the hamstring. I think it's a little more serious than that. Be very surprised if he comes back after half-time, and that will be a blow to Toowoomba, because the fullback, Peter Gillis, has certainly been one of their most damaging runners.
That's Patterson trying to change the point of attack, but his opposite number in Ryan Kerr read it well. Saunders, very, very flat. Gillis, yeah, he really is in trouble. He's trying to link up to get that back line moving, but he's struggling with that right leg. Well, Clubfell, they just appear a little ragged, David. There's no intensity there, is it?
Yes, there's a bit of a problem there. I think their forwards could do with a little bit of extra work and take a bit of pressure off the back line, who are trying to get the ball too early in the tackle count.
Now, Bond ran across field. He got away from Betros and Warren, but finally was crunched by Fickling, who came in very solidly. .32 out from their own goal line. Phillips leading the Mackay side. At the stage, his team on level terms as we fast approach half-time here at Lang Park. It's 10 apiece. That's Bella.
David, I think if I was a Toowoomba coach, I'll be shifting my fullback Gillis from away from there, because he's going to be expecting a kick shortly, and under current situation conditions, there's no way in the world he's going to be able to return that kick, and he could even do himself a lot greater damage, and hamstrings are things that are necessary.
Well, he's been saved by the fact that it's a short chip, and he really did struggle trying to get to that football. That's him and dummy half at the moment. And I would say probably what's happening, Paul Canning may want to wait to half-time, Wally. It's only 2 minutes away, or less than that now, just to check on that condition of Gillis before he makes the substitution.
Yes, I think that's what's going to happen, David, but they really are important things towards your running. Of course, they really are a necessity, and once you get a bad hamstring, that could be the end of you.
Well, here's a good break upfield by Patterson. He got away from Bella, came to the fullback at Ellamore, but he picked him off well. And finally, the other defence arrives as well. This is the final tackle. It'll go to Saunders, a switch of play across field. It's to Warren. He puts it high in the air.
Was touched, and therefore they're in an offside position. As Warren put the ball up, it came off the hand of one of the Mackay boys, and their teammates, in particular Bella, was not aware of that, even though you can see the referee signal there, touched in flight. Therefore Bella and also Paul in an offside position. A chance now for St Mary's with another penalty.
We'll have this one, Wally. Peter Gillis, who's got a hamstring injury, is going to have a look for the 2 points. Shades of you against Parramatta or the Gold Coast, was it early this year? I think you missed 3 from 3 with that bad hammy, didn't you?
That was the excuse for the day, David, but I really think this is going to tell us whether it's a hamstring injury or not, because as we saw with Michael O'Connor a few weeks ago, the outcome of a hamstring injury and just how it can affect you. Remember, he kicked the ball off from halfway, and it really did keep him out for a number of weeks. And if he can kick this ball from this distance out and land the goal, or at least get the distance, I don't think he's got too much wrong with his hamstring.
Well, he's got the ball high on the mound. He's 33 metres out, directly in front of the goalpost, kicking into a slight cross breeze.
There must be anyone else in the side who can kick a football, because I just can't believe this guy's going to actually limp back to have a shot for goal from this distance.
His captain, Don Saunders, is the number 2 kicker. So the halftime hooter sounds. This could be his last hurrah if this leg goes on this kick. Gillis moves in. It looks, no, it's away to the right. It will be taken out by Mackay for the last play of the match, of the first half. Well, he's still going, and he takes play to the quarter line. And at half-time here in the final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup for the Queensland Regional Division, it's all tied up between the two Christian Brothers colleges. St Mary's from Mackay, of Toowoomba, and St Patrick's of Mackay. We'll be back for the second half in just a moment. Lang Park, Brisbane is the venue for this final of the Queensland division of the Commonwealth Bank Cup for 1990. And the scenario at half-time for these two Christian Brothers College teams, one from Mackay and one from Toowoomba, it's 10-all. And it will be the Toowoomba side that will now defend the southern end of Lang Park. They will restart play in the second half. 2 tries apiece. And a lot of concern about this young man just before half-time. And he must be a valuable player, David Wright, because the coaches opted not to replace him at half-time. And I just wonder whether they may pay the penalty for that.
Well, you can see how he's struggling there. And as Wally Lewis was mentioning just before half-time, no more important position on the field than fullback, and he's going to be required to put that leg under pressure from time to time in the second half. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Well, that's Anthony Bella taking play up to about 20 metres after his own goal line. And Phillips. Ball goes backwards. It's picked up by Kerr. And he takes play beyond the 22. That pass looked a little bit forward to the captain, Phillips. 10-all at half-time. And a mistake by Mackay just outside their own quarter line.
And can be very costly, David. Paul there, this time he's run not a particularly good pass at a dummy half. There's the pass just in behind him. A chance here for St Mary's Toowoomba. Loose head and feed.
Yes, it'll be fed by Murray Patterson. The back of the scrum, they work on the blind side. It's the fullback Gillis in. And coming up with the ball was Quinlan. That's Betros. Saunders, the captain, will go to dummy half. The receiver is Klupfell. Hasn't had the dominating effect that he had in that semi-final, David. He was an outstanding prospect from that match.
Yeah, defence quite a bit stronger from St Pat's, but in pretty good position here now, St Mary's, to put real pressure on the try line.
They'll go now to Patterson, away for Warren. Gillis came in the line, through the pass. Fickling was taken very, very heavily in the tackle. Gillis. They keep it alive. The dummy throw. That's an easy try. Coming up with it is Kyle Warren. And that's just the start that Toowoomba wanted in this second half.
They got it because they ran it on the 6th tackle. Warren there was in a position to run onto this pass. Brushes a couple of tackles initially. The big fellow in Butler was set up to play. Or was it Quarrell? I think it might have been Quarrell. And Warren comes around to score the try.
Some very neat work there, David, as we can see him bumps off, took out 2 defenders, and with a neat little dummy that fooled the second rower in Betros, he went round to improve the possession even further. But we've seen a couple of neat little passes from this Mackay side. Of course, we saw one just prior to half-time where some quick hands led to a try. This one was very similar, except the ball carrier at the time managed to take out 2 or 3 defenders before shelving it on to a supporting player.
Well, the third goal kicker used by the Toowoomba side. That's Warren's second try of the season. And his first attempt for the kick here at Lang Park. The ball placed just inside the quarter line. Well, he's got it in flight pretty well. That's straight between the uprights. And that is a tremendous lead to St Mary's of Toowoomba. 16 points to 10 here at Lang Park. Well, tremendous conditions here, Tony Durkin, for this match, and a very, very good crowd, despite it's so early in the afternoon. And what a thrill it is for these young fellows not only to be on Lang Park, but to be playing in such a good and responsive crowd.
Yes, David, it's a beautiful day in Brisbane, a typical Brisbane winter's day, and as you said, the crowd have come in early. The ground sold out today, but Paul Canning, the Toowoomba coach, will be absolutely delighted with that breakthrough by his side after half-time. I was in the dressing room with them at half-time, and he said that if they can score first in this second half, they'll win the game. So very, very confident Toowoomba were at half-time, and I'd say even more so after that great try. And Warren, the boy they've moved into 5'8", has really had a stamped his class on this game. He's had a beauty.
Yes, well, that's the position he played, in fact, against Mergen. He was originally chosen in the centres, but with that reshuffle in the back line, with them opting to leave young Jamie Hopgood out of the side, that's the position he's taken up. So it goes back now for Brett Dallas. And Wally, this year the big expansion with the Queensland schools. For the first time ever in a Queensland final, a non-Brisbane side, they're both from outside of Brisbane. So it goes to show just what the influence of country rugby league is doing here in Queensland. As a brilliant run is made up by this young fella Gaviglio. He timed the pass beautifully, and Agnew sprints away. There's the replay from Mackay. They are right back in this final.
Sensational run, this one from Gaviglio. Initially, he busts the line beautifully. Big centre hasn't had many chances. Goes to the defensive line. Saunders can't handle him. Busts through, then got the pace to go on with it. Looked on the outside as well. Agnew supporting nicely, waiting his time. Gaviglio draws the fullback. He can't get there, Gillis. Second try this one for Agnew, and he brings around to improve the position.
We just mentioned before, David, just how important the Toowoomba fullback is hamstring he could be if it was needed in defence, and it certainly was here, as we saw Gaviglio break away with power. We'd heard that he was a very strong bloke. Just watch the fullback try and put the long ones in here. You can just see that hamstring going. He mightn't have been able to stop him, but he could have at least had a chance if he was a fully fit fullback on the field.
Beautiful stride on this fellow Gaviglio. He did play in the nudgy 15s last year, first 15, and really showing good form there. Agnew backs up nicely.
Yes, Agnew's second try. The conversion attempt is not successful, and Mackay just trailed by 2 in this final at Lang Park. 16 points to 14 to the side from Toowoomba. Well, the point I was going to bring up, Wally, before that great break by Gaviglio was the fact that the Queensland country schools have really made their impact in this competition.
Yes, they certainly have. It's very good to see that the country schools can beat their city counterparts. I'm sure that there'll be one thing that will open the eyes for some of the talent scouts around. Peter Moore is a guy that often travels to the Queensland country to get many signings for Canterbury Bankstown, and I'm sure that both the Broncos and Balmain talent scouts that will be here to watch their respective clubs today will have their eyes well and truly on a couple of these youngsters who will be dominant forces in the years to come.
Well, Tony Durkin, already we've seen Gillis now replaced after that try. Probably a case of the horse already bolting, though.
Yes, I think they took the gamble, and maybe it hasn't paid off, David, but Gillis, as you said, has left the field. A try and a goal to Peter Gillis, who's played very well until that hamstring injury. He's been replaced by Jamie Hopgood, who goes to fullback, and of course he's the Australian under 15 5'8" from this year, so he's obviously a player with a lot of class.
Well, Tony, this Toowoomba side has produced some great internationals, probably notably the former Kangaroo captain Tommy Gorman.
Yeah, Tommy Gorman, of course, the first Queenslander to captain the Kangaroos. The next, of course, was our own Walter Lewis, and coming up in a moment, James Donnelly in the reserve grade game, and Andrew Richards, of course, also in the Broncos reserve grade side today, and Peter Gill playing with St George at the moment. So they've had some good players come out of the school, as has, of course, St Pat's Mackay, Martin Bella, to name one.
Well, it's 16 to 14. Toowoomba holding that slender advantage here. And Warren unloaded the pass. Just short of the halfway line. Borrell did run by the prop forward, unloaded the ball beautifully. And Patterson is wrapped up in the tackle. Young Hopgood goes into dummy half as Paul Canning gets to his feet, the coach of the Toowoomba side.
Once again, we see St Patrick's not standing square on at the market position. It's not the first time they've been caught for that infringement. Here it is, the tackle there being put down. And then you must stand square on, not move until the ball has cleared the ruck. The offender, Gaviglio.
Geez, a good build for a 17-year-old kid, young Gaviglio. And he moved splendidly too when we saw him set that try up for Agnew. And we see now a chance for Toowoomba. Gee, a try here would certainly be just what the doctor ordered for Toowoomba, just clinging to that 2-point lead. And one of their hard workers in Butler takes the first ruck. Now it'll go to Clupfell. He showed some good unloading skills in that semi-final. They've got the numbers to the left to Toowoomba if they want to move it that way. Saunders got the quick ball for Patterson, and the little halfback tried to step his way through. They've got an option either side now. Will we see the run from dummy half? That's exactly what we've seen, but I think he's been held up in the in goal. It was pretty predictable, and it was well read by the Mackay defence.
Big fella Butler tried his luck. He scored a try from a similar position in the first half, but this time well read by Mackay. There's Butler low and hard, exactly the same position he used in the first half, but there the little halfback in Ryan Kerr gets in underneath.
Dunrobin. Ellamore. Dunrobin unloaded the pass to Bella. He takes play beyond the 22. A good run by the lock forward, looking to unload all the time. And he's made around about an 18 or a 20 metre gain to take play up to within 10 metres of halfway. Scott unloaded the pass. That's Phillips. Coming in as the lightweight lock forward in Tim Graham. Scott away for Kerr. A good pass this way. It was for Harris. The ball's loose on the ground. 6 to go, says the referee, Robert Irwin. And Mackay trying to get back into this final. They work it away through Scott, who takes it to the centre of the quarter line. Kerr away for Paul. That's good defence. Captain Saunders, the man who effected the tackle. That pass looked forward to Harris. And they're only about 12 metres out, Mackay. Was that a little knock on in the play of the ball? Kerr turning it back infield. And that's Peter Phillips, the captain, who'll play the ball. 12 metres out. And a penalty. Toowoomba right up inside the 5 on the final tackle. And I'm sure that Bella will look for the 2 points.
Well, that was a great passage of play there from St Patrick's of Mackay. They took the ball from one end of the field to the other. It did get a restart of the tackle count. And then right on the 5th tackle, second time around, a penalty here coming to St Pat's. They get a chance to square it up.
We have an injured player also. It's the young lock forward in Graham. And it appears, Wally, that it could well be a shoulder injury.
Yes, he looked like he damaged his shoulder affecting attack a couple of minutes ago, David, and he looked to be in a fair bit of pain. He's sitting upright now. Looks like he might be all right to go on, but you were quite right there. It was a very exciting passage of play from Mackay. They managed to take the ball well downfield, and they seemed to gain a lot of impudence from young Bella, who's run upfield, as you said, which made them around about 20 metres, got them on a forward roll. Once they really got that motion going forward, they were impossible to stop.
So Bella with a chance to square this final up at 16 apiece. The side trail by 2. He's only 10 metres out, about 5 to the left of that upright. Gee, he takes some time over his kicks. Let's hope all that time is worthwhile. He moves in, no doubt in the world about it. The flags go up, and we have a tied ball game between Toowoomba and Mackay. St Patrick's College Mackay and St Mary's Toowoomba tied up at 16 apiece. So the ball placed on the halfway line by young Hopgood. Strikes it with the left foot and drives it deep downfield. Well, we have our statistician David working overtime now, because in the event of a drawn match at the end of the required time, that comes back to a count-back situation.
That's right, Fordo. If it is a drawn match, it is then looked at on who has scored the most number of tries, and at the moment that is equal for each of the two sides. And we've still got, of course, 17 minutes to go in the match. And if that was to be the case at the end of the time, it is then the most number of penalties conceded. The side that concedes the most number of penalties would lose the game. At the moment, St Mary's have 9 penalties, St Patrick's 4.
There's a good break upfield by Dunrobin. The ball's still alive. That's Agnew. Can this be try number 3? The pass has gone forward. Gaviglio knocks it forward finally, and a very promising move breaks down for Mackay. And Gaviglio and his opponent are stuck right into it, and this really is a nasty situation. It's an all-in brawl here at Lang Park, and it is still going.
Totally uncalled for this. It's a disgrace for both teams, and really totally unnecessary, and it's got right out of hand.
I think a couple might go here.
Well, they should.
And
they
I
ought
can
to be
tell you,
ashamed.
Betros is one who wants to go on with it, but it was all started with Gaviglio, and I think Pickley.
Well, totally unnecessary, and it got to a stage where there were plenty of king hits going in as well. It didn't matter who was in front of them and which way they were looking. When players should be coming in to break up fights after initial eruption, they had no intention whatsoever to break up the fight. Schoolboy football is about football. In actual fact, the New South Wales Rugby League have shown the way in a large case in cleaning up the game. We very seldom see all-in brawls, and I think the 26 players stand condemned for what we've just seen.
Well, here it is here. Fickling, he gave him a little bit of a chop, and then Gaviglio went on with it. And it was totally uncalled for. And now the referee, Irwin, is getting reports from both touch judges.
One of the difficulties now that the referee and the two touch judges face is just who were the instigators. And if he can signal out the instigator, then he should be the one at least goes to the sin bin. And then difficulty with an all-in brawl to find out anyone else from there. The referee has got his reports from the touch judges. He's got Gaviglio for one, Betros for the other, so Fordo, you're pretty close to the mark.
Well, both captains coming up as well. Gaviglio was the instigator, and this fellow on the left for Toowoomba, Betros, got involved when he really had little need to do. And they both, well, Gaviglio's been given 10. And now what will happen with Betros? He's getting a stern lecture, I can tell you.
And the clock continues to count down. This is part of football. Any reports, and there's another 10 minutes.
Well, they'll come back with about 4 minutes of play remaining, and it gives us a chance to thank the Commonwealth Bank for their involvement in this great competition. We'll also be naming the 3-2-1 and the Adidas Player of the Year series, and of course one of these sides will stay alive for the race for finals honours in Sydney, the winning school receiving $5,000 worth of great product from NEC, and the runner-up in 1990, $3,000 worth of great NEC products. So great people supporting rugby league in Australia, in particular Commonwealth Bank, Adidas and NEC at this level. A nursery that has produced so many internationals of the calibre of players like Elias and Sterling, and we have an injured player. Might have thrown the elbow out throwing one of the haymakers, David.
Could well have done, because there was plenty of those going in. We've now got some 12-man football, and there's plenty of gaps. There's been on the field when they've had 13 aside. There's going to be even more now.
Tony Durkin, what was the reaction on the sideline with the coaching staff when that little altercation broke out?
Well, I'd say gross embarrassment, David, from the schools. It's been a big weekend for the Christian brothers. A big match yesterday in rugby union here in Brisbane, and of course the two Christian brothers independent schools here today on display. And I agree with everything that you said up there. An absolute disgrace.
Well, one against the feed. As we see, the kick will find touch up towards halfway.
Differential penalty for the back lines not standing back the 5 metres from the base of the scrum.
Saunders with the tap restart. Now let's see if the tempers have settled down. It appears they have. I think there's a fair bit of frustration was let out there, David, when that broke out.
Yes, they certainly should have relieved themselves of all frustrations, and we should be able to settle down a bit of good football.
That's Quarrel, 30 metres out. Goes to Patterson. That's Warren. Hopgood was trying to get on his left-hand side to receive the pass. It's Hopgood that goes into dummy half. It'll go away to Patterson. No support, so he decides to chip and chase. The ball's loose on the ground. That player is offside. And a chance. Well, the tempers are flaring again, that time with Quinlan and Kerr. Silly stuff, because Toowoomba have already got the penalty.
Here's a little kick from Patterson. He really didn't have much other option. Just touched there in flight by Elmore, and then in an offside position, Kerr.
Well, young Hopgood, who's just come onto the field, 15 years of age, an Australian junior representative, and he's been thrown the goal-kicking responsibility with a chance to put his side in the lead. So the replacement player has all the pressure on him. Young Hopgood, his first attempt. Around about 17 metres out. Around the corner style kicker. Oh, he struck it beautifully. What a beautiful kick from Hopgood. And it's put his side in the lead by 2 with around about 11 minutes of play remaining. Well, Paul Canning's side sneaks back in the lead. And what a confidence booster that was. The 4th kicker used, Wally, but for the Toowoomba side, but I think they've got it right now. He really struck that ball beautifully.
Yes, David, the way that he did kick the ball and also the way he's attacked since he's come on. They certainly must be doing very well to leave this fellow on the bench. He's a guy that's been full of confidence ever since he's moved onto the field, and I think we could see him figuring a little bit more in the teamwork, because I'm sure that after today's performance, and especially if we find that Peter Gillis's hamstring injury does keep him out of the next game, we'll certainly see this bloke in the team for the full duration of the match.
Well, that's him again. He got the pass away. Can they dive on it? No, it will be a Mackay ball, but a good break-up field by Ben Quarrell. Showed good skills to unload. Now Agnew. He's already scored a couple of tries today for Mackay. Bella goes into dummy half. He's looking for Kerr. Kerr threw the dummy to Paul and then changed the point of attack and took it to about 25 metres out. And the chance go up from the team, the support from Toowoomba. Their side is in the lead by 2. Scott's trying to change that for Mackay. Kerr got it away this time. That's loose on the ground. The error has been made by Ellamore. And we'll see the scrum pack down. It all came from this. Never had the ball under control at any stage. So a chance now for Toowoomba to control the football inside their own quarter. That's Warren moving it across field. Gee, it's confident stuff inside their own 22. And they've worked play out to midway between the half and the quarter line at their end of the ground. Quinlan, and there's an error in the play of the ball. And really, all the good work was undone.
Young Rabbit there, who did make a good break, a good fend initially to get to this particular position. And then the all-important play the ball movement knocked it forward.
Well, I suppose this Mackay side would love to have the attacking skills of young Gaviglio at the centres at this stage, but he's still got some time left in the sin bin after that altercation.
3rd penalty in the match for hookers with their feet across, and the ball coming straight back out the tunnel.
So Bella to look for touch. 18-16, St Mary's Toowoomba in the lead, but Mackay with a great attacking opportunity now inside their own quarter line. Paul is the first receiver. Oh, what a hit. That is a great tackle from Quarrell. I've really been impressed with this young prop forward in the second half. He's shown some great attacking skills, and you won't see a better tackle than that one. Scott, a dummy half. He'll move it to Kerr. He showed the ball beautifully, and he's only a couple of metres short of the try line. It's Paul who puts his head down and tries to work his way towards that try line. The pressure on Toowoomba. They work open side. And a loss of possession by Michael Harris takes the pressure right off.
Well, St Patrick's have Mackay have had a couple of chances inside the quarterway, and it's been their own errors, basically unforced. We see the big fella there and Harris losing the ball. Loose head and feed to St Mary's.
And it goes, the push is on by Mackay, and the penalty against Toowoomba.
Collapsing the scrum.
Well, they're not going to look for the 2 points. Differential penalty, that is the reason. And the head down by Paul. They move it to Kerr. He threw the dummy. The gap opened, and for the second time in a couple of minutes,
Quarrell's got it.
He's been denied, and a penalty has been conceded by Quarrell.
Well, he's got 5 minutes as well, I think. That's tough.
They've taken the quick, well, they took the quick tap. And they do it with Bella. Well,
now down to 11 men.
Well, for the 3rd time they take the tap. It's Paul, head down, and now Toowoomba down to 11 men. Mackay down to 12 with Gaviglio off the field. Phillips just a metre or so short. Really pressure now. Kerr put the head down. This is gutsy stuff in defence by Toowoomba, but a good ball moved quickly to the right could do the job. It's loose on the ground. Splendid defence by the 11-man outfit from Toowoomba.
Outstanding work there by St Mary's at Toowoomba. They were really desperate, and I got no doubt the 20-odd thousand people already here at Lane Park help them lift themselves.
David, I can't understand why they didn't take the shot at goal there. It would have tied the scores up, unless they've admittedly they are very smart school kids, and they may have some sort of computer working out that they may be behind in the penalties, but that would have at least tied the scores up. I think they've made a grave mistake there.
There's the ball downfield. I think they are in fact behind on that penalty count. (11-7) in fact they're down, so maybe they have done their homework, Wally.
Yes, it does seem that way, David. I must admit, when I was going to school, I certainly wouldn't have been bothered to keep a check on the penalties. As we see, a great ball got away. Unfortunately, the pass has gone down to the winger in Dallas, but it certainly was worth a better ending than that. As Agnew got a one-hander away here on the replay, we saw him into a gap and marvellously got away that pass, but unfortunately a bad ending.
Tony Durkin, a replacement in this Mackay side.
Sean Dingle is the player on, David, in jersey number 15. Player coming off has his back to you.
Michael Harris is the player coming off. Here's a good break. Warren got the ball away nicely to Hopgood, and he tried to straighten the attack up, and the cover defence got there through the 5'8" in Dunrobin. So into the final 5 minutes of this Queensland final. And one of these sides will keep their hopes alive in 1990, representing the state of Queensland in the final countdown to Commonwealth Bank Cup honours. There's the coach, Mick April, of the Mackay side. His side is down by 2 points at the moment. But they have come back with the football.
Attempting to offload the ball there was Butler. He was hit heavily in the tackle, and having been hit, there he is. Takes on the defence nicely. Just tries to pop the ball out the back. Too much pressure.
So let's see what Mackay can come up with in this final 5 minutes. It was 10-all at half-time. Gee, that's good defence. Tremendous stuff.
Both the front rowers, Butler and Quarrell, have played very well.
Well, Betros and Gaviglio are about to come on for their respective sides with 4.5 minutes remaining. That's Paul, delivered a nice ball away. The kick and chase is on, but it's beautifully taken by Marty Quinlan. And this very, very good crowd here at Lang Park enjoying great conditions and a very entertaining Queensland final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup for 1990. Saunders. Quinlan goes to dummy half. Graham. No, in fact, that's the replacement player in Carlo Palmero. That's Betros back on the field for his first touch. Final tackle now for Toowoomba. Hopgood. Oh, that's a bad mistake.
That'll be the changeover, and here's a great chance now for St Pat's and Mackay. The pass out of the dummy half position, not a particularly good one.
I think he had a quick look.
Yep.
Loss of possession by Gaviglio.
He's got it back.
He's got the football back, and Quinlan resented it. Dunrobin. Bella. Kerr. Good defence again by Toowoomba. Swarming defence, in fact, coming in from Clupfeld. Just on 3 minutes of play remaining. Paul with a little kick and chase. Dunrobin is onside. He had a look.
The referee called him out. The referee actually told him for it, and that's why he delayed it. The referee told him he was offside, and he looked to the referee. He can't believe it, really. He believed he was onside. There it is on the replay. You could see him look across to the referee as the referee said, stay out of it. He did that, but the ball still bounced up at him.
Not all that happy about it, Walter.
No, he didn't seem that way, but I must admit at the time I thought he was onside, but the head-on replay did show quite clearly that he was probably half a metre offside. Smart thinking there, seeing that the fullback was out of place. It could have brought a possible 4 points and victory.
Well, it's going to make it tough now into the final two. And St Mary's clinging to a 2-point lead. And it's through the left boot of that young fellow, Hopgood, the replacement player, that's given them the lead. That's a very, very poor pass. And their ball control has been pretty ordinary in the last 4 or 5 minutes, particularly David protecting such a slender lead.
Yes, and in particular out of that dummy half position, you cannot underestimate the importance of clean service from that area.
So Saunders to his feet. There's the kick downfield. That's Saunders. And we will be announcing our 3-2-1 in the Player of the Year series, the Adidas Player of the Series award, as we get down towards full time here at Lang Park. And we're only about a minute and a half away. And it could well be that this Toowoomba side is on its way to further honours representing Queensland in the final countdown for Cup honours in 1990. This young fellow has already scored 2 tries and will try and change that. Phillips. Paul Canning, anxious moments for this Toowoomba side. We're into the final minute. And the last throw of the dice for Mackay. It's Bella, has support of Bondi through the dummy, took the tackle and is taken in on the quarter line. Flag up by the touch judge.
The referee hasn't missed it, holding back the supporting player. Still a chance now for St Pat's.
Well, they must know they are trailing on the penalty count, because I think you'll find they'll put pressure on and not go for the 2 points.
Well, precious seconds here are being wasted. Bella's going to look for touch. I don't know why he just doesn't get on with the game. Those couple of metres he's gained has wasted precious time.
That's Paul. Now they move it again. Done, Robin. This is the last chance. Gaviglio got the pass away as the hooter goes. A chance for Mackay. No try. Hit the corner flag. No try. Correct decision. And a desperation for Brett Dallas. He could have been the match saver, but a very good decision at the end. And the 2 coaching staffs come together. Elation for Toowoomba.
What a sensational finish. Good ball movement this by Mackay. They flick it out along the back line. It finally comes out to Dallas, and he does his best to get for the corner. Let's have a look at it. Good ball movement by the back line. Dallas gets outside his opposite number, dashes for the corner. Good cover defence. Gee, that was close.
Well, the Queensland final has been decided. The 2 Christian Brothers College did battle today. St Mary's Toowoomba, victorious by 18-16. Our award goes to Kyle Warren. 2 points to Patterson, the halfback, and 1 to the big prop forward in Ben Quarrell. The 3 awards going to the winning side. And victory to the Toowoomba side over Mackay in a great Queensland final. My thanks go to David Wright, Wally Lewis and Tony Durkin for their expert comments of this Queensland final. And on behalf of that commentary team, I'm David Fordham, bidding you farewell from Rugby League headquarters in Brisbane, the mighty Lang Park, with victory today to the Christian Brothers College from Toowoomba.